Alright, so this can be my video on PC optimization and just kind of like general tips for better performance on your PC and all that. I will say I'm only scratching the surface in this video of all the things you can do. I'm gonna put a link to a guy on YouTube that I've learned everything, and if you want to like completely optimize your PC, like you want to get the most, I recommend following the A to Z series that he made. It's long and pretty time consuming, but after you do it, you will 100% feel a difference and see a difference. So, yeah, I'm just going to be going over like stuff that I do on other people's computers and stuff. So, yeah. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to go over is pretty like a rookie mistake, but so where to plug in your mouse and keyboard really does matter. So I have the back of like a computer here. So these two ports up here at the top, those are the ones that you want to use. Those are going to give you the best input lag on your mouse and keyboard because they're the closest to the CPU. And then another option would be any USB port. So I'll take this picture. Don't use these red ones. These are USB 3.0. This is USB 2.0. These are just terrible for gaming. Please don't use these. Just try to use, you can use these for like audio or something else, but use the black ones for your mouse and keyboard. And just another thing, I've seen someone not do this right. You should probably, you probably have a dedicated GPU. Please plug your monitor into this. Like, don't use the motherboard. Don't use this. Plug it into the GPU. That's just a no-brainer, but I'm saying it anyway. Alright, now I'm going to be going over a couple BIOS settings. If you don't know how to get in the BIOS, just come down here, hit restart, and when you're restarting, just spam the delete key on your keyboard until it comes up with a screen. Most people know how to get in the BIOS, but okay, so if you have a different motherboard than me, your BIOS is going to look different, and mine's updated, so it'll look different, but just try your best. Google's always the thing if you can't find something. So first one I'm going to be going over is XMP. If you don't have this on, you're losing at least 60 FPS. This is for if you have 2 sticks of RAM. If you don't have 2 sticks of RAM, once again, you're losing like probably 80 FPS in most cases. So XMP is just a factory overclock for your RAM. So my XMP is disabled because I manually overclocked all the timings on my RAM, but that's way too advanced. Just use XMP. You're not going to get that much more by doing it manually. So profile 1, you can see here it actually shows the speed. Profile 1 is a little bit slower, so it kind of depends on your motherboard, but in my case, profile 2 is the fastest. So if you're not sure, look it up. But profile 2, at least in this case, is going to be faster. So, set XMP on profile 2. You might even have a little thing up here at the top, and it'll say XMP. Just click on it, profile 2. You might be able to figure out if one is faster than the other. So then here, this could be in so many different places, but mine's advanced USB configuration. That's what it should be under. This is going to be your USB, just kind of like how it talks to the CPU. So I have handoff disabled. Feels much better to me, but it's not a big deal. It's just something I do. But yeah, disable that. See how you like it. And the last thing, there's a lot of other BIOS settings. Depends on your motherboard. Um, but these are just the main ones I change. Be really careful in your BIOS because there's some settings that could break your computer. So if you're not sure, just don't touch it. Look it up if you know you're confused about something. So CPU features, a big one. A lot of these will help so much. So mine's an overclocking, and then I scroll all the way down CPU features. So SMT or hyperthreading for Intel. I'm on AMD. Just leave this on or auto or whatever it's at. Global C state control, disable this. Your input lag will be so much lower. This is really bad. Apache control, not really sure. It was disabled, I think, by default. Um, I have it disabled. Everything's fine. IO MMU, just I think that one's disabled by default. Just probably don't touch that or disable it. Spread spectrum, disable that. Not good. Um, you might not have all the settings that I have. If you don't, just don't touch them. EDC throttling, I guess just auto. If you're on AMD cool and quiet is terrible. Don't just disable that. NX mode, just leave that on. Uh, SMV mode disabled. The auto, and then mode 0. No one really knows what that does, so just disable it. A lot of these in here you can just disable all of them, and you'll probably be fine. But those are mine. Um, if you're not sure, just look it up or don't touch it. One other thing I didn't take a picture of, you might have this up at the top if you go to boot, or it might be on the side. If you go to boot, if you have something called fast boot or like quick boot or something like that, disable that. Uh, that's not good. But besides that, those are just the main settings in here that I touch. So, alright, so now I'm gonna go over like some general settings for games and applications and just some things you can do in Windows, and then I'll go over like actually tweaking and changing stuff with reg keys and all that. So first thing is we'll just do Google first. So Google, you should not have this open while you're playing. I don't know why you need it open, but if you really need to have it open, um, disable hardware acceleration. That's terrible. Um, One other thing is later in the video I'll use a program to turn off Google updates and other things that run. So there's that. Settings. One thing, I'm on a custom Windows install, so it's gonna look a little different than yours, but it you should still be able to follow along. It's not that big of a deal. So in here, type in mouse. Try to get it here. So make sure you uncheck this. Don't, if you already touched this, that's fine because I have a thing that will reset it, but don't touch that if you haven't touched it. So uncheck enhanced pointer precision, that's hardware or mouse acceleration. Come down here, type this PC. You're gonna right click on it. Mine's a little different because I'm on a custom thing. So, if you want to follow along with me, just File Explorer, this PC, right click, Properties, and it's over here. This really doesn't do a whole lot, but it just, if you have a really shitty computer, this will help a little bit. So mine's a bit bugged, but you're going to click on Adjust for Best Performance. All of these will be unchecked. Click on Custom and check Smooth Edges of Screen Fonts and Show Thumbnails instead of icons. You can check those two. Apply OK. And then one other thing is come back performance settings, go to advanced, click on background services, and then you click on programs again and apply an OK. Sometimes Windows bugs out and it doesn't do that correctly, so um, you can do that. Another thing is on all your drives properties and uncheck um, this box right here. It'll do its thing. It might take a while. Don't worry about that. Do that for all of these. Um, Another thing is for where your games are downloaded, make sure they're downloaded on SSD. These are all SSDs, but make sure it's downloaded on SSD. You'll have way better FPS. So you can go to where your game's downloaded. In my case, I'll just do Fortnite game. Binaries, Win64. First one, the biggest one, you can tell. You can do this for all your games. Properties and compatibility. Disable full screen optimization. That's going to put you in exclusive full screen, which takes out a layer of VSync from the desktop. So you can do that. I'll just do it for Valorant as well. This one. No, it's not that one. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember where. Could it be this? It might be this one. No, it's not that one. Okay, yeah, here it is. Okay, here's the path up here. Sometimes you just have to come through here and try to find it for the game. You can also check this if you want. But yeah. And then same thing with Discord. Here, I'll drag it. It's on my other monitor. For Discord, you want to go to user settings. You want to go to appearance and turn off hardware acceleration. That's a big one because chances are you have Discord open while you're playing a game. What's some other things? Like you could type in apps, uninstall like things you don't need. That's kind of obvious. That's one thing I'd check. Another thing is if you go into your computer settings, a couple things in here. Like this is some other, you can uninstall like default apps. I don't have any because, like I said, I'm on a custom install, which you can go to Free's YouTube and he'll show how to do that. But that's besides the point. So privacy, these are going to be glitched out for me, but for you, you just want to turn everything in here off. Like turn all this, everything you see in here, just turn it off. Like you don't, everything but the microphone you don't need. You can turn all this off. Another thing is if you go to update, once again mine's bugged out. Actually, I probably don't have it. Type up here in this box. It won't work for me, but type delivery optimization. Turn all that like to the like off and stuff. Another thing in privacy that I just remembered. Here, the feedback and diagnostics. Make sure you have this on basic. Let's see. Not a whole lot. For the game, like you'll have a game option. Make sure you turn all that stuff off, like all the Xbox stuff. You don't need that. Okay, so one other thing that I forgot to mention was Spotify. So Spotify, you want to make sure, come up here to settings. actually two things I'm just remembering. There's so much things to do. You want to disable. You want to go to advanced settings, and you want to turn off hardware acceleration all the way down here at the bottom. Just scroll all the way down. Turn off hardware acceleration for Spotify because you'll probably have that open as well. Okay, so we've pretty much done everything in Windows that I can remember. If I think of something else, I'll mention it in here. But yeah, so the first thing, everything that you need, I'll have it a download link and where you can get it and stuff. So probably before you even start the video, just download everything because you will eventually use all of it. The first thing I'm gonna do is auto runs. So I just have it over here. It's gonna open up this. And there's a lot of things. Don't worry though. Just follow me. So for what you're gonna look for in here is just things that you don't need to have running. So pretty much if you see something I've disabled, you can probably disable it too. So like Riot Vanguard, that's just the little thing that opens down at the bottom. You can turn that off. It's a little bit glitchy with having Valorant. Working with that, that's a whole another thing. Steam, you can turn this off of the current version run. Google Chrome, so under this one, Google Chrome, uncheck that. In here, if you don't know what something is, just don't touch it. A lot, so you don't have to worry, you won't have all that stuff. Okay, so and then here, the current control set services. A lot of these you're gonna want to uncheck. So, I actually need to uncheck that. So, Google Chrome Elevation Service, you can uncheck that. The anti-cheats, leave those checked, your game won't work. Google Update, these two, uncheck that. If you have Origin, you can uncheck these, that works fine. Leave this Punk Buster checked, but I have that because I'm not playing it. Steam Client Service, I don't think I've messed with this. Just leave that checked. It's fine. If you have a mouse software that's like a update service, you can turn that off. That's just auto updates. TeamViewer, if you have that, you can turn that off. In here, don't touch any of this. I used to have the Logitech software and it left these behind. So yeah, if you have an old software that you know you don't have anymore, and there's a service that's connected to it, turn that off, just in case it's still running. That's pretty much everything in here. This program will be extremely useful once you kind of get familiar with it. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of do this in the order I do someone's computer in. So, first you're gonna want to open a RegTweaks folder and run it starting from RegTweaks and then like go up. It doesn't really matter. You just make sure you run all these in here. This shouldn't really matter, but if you're curious, you can right click and edit and you can see what these do. That down here is for something else I'll show. But yeah, so run those and then you're come back here. Next one you're gonna open up the mouse folder, run the BCD edit and run mouse fix, and those should be the only folders. So once you run those, you can restart your computer and come back. So once you come back, we're gonna start with the GPU. So if you don't have an NVIDIA GPU, I can't help you with this. You're just kind of out of luck. But what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna come down here and you're gonna type in msconfig. I mistyped. So msconfig.exe, this one. So I'm gonna explain this as best as I can, but Freethie has a better video on this, on how to do this. But so you're gonna check safe boot, and you're gonna click apply and OK, and you're gonna restart. And when you come back into Windows, you'll be in safe mode. So when you get into safe mode, here's what you're gonna do. So you're gonna open up the GPU folder. You can always come back to this video on your phone or something once you're in safe mode. You're gonna open up the GPU folder here. You're gonna click on this DDU folder. You're gonna click on this exe right here, and it's gonna open up. You won't have these things, so don't worry about this. I'll tell you. Okay, so it's gonna look like this. You're gonna select device type, GPU, and um, and then it'll know what it'll say NVIDIA under here. And you're gonna click clean and restart. You're gonna wait for it to do its thing. It'll do its thing, and um, and then it'll restart you back into Windows. So after you do that, you're gonna be back into Windows, and you're gonna type in the same thing, msconfig.exe, and you're gonna uncheck safe mode so that way you can get out of safe mode, and then you'll restart, and you'll be back into Windows. So once you get back into Windows, your screen might look weird, like it'll be like yellow black bars, or it'll be stretched or something. Don't worry about that, because what you're going to do is you're going to open up this folder, and you're going to run the setup, and on the setup, it'll search for your GPU, and it'll come up with two options. It'll say Express installation or custom. You're going to click on custom, and then next and whatever, and then it'll say it'll have like a little box with a few things in it, and down at the bottom it'll say perform a clean install. Click on that and install this driver. This is just your GPU driver. I will say one thing. Once it's done downloading, if you use GeForce Experience, which I would not use GeForce Experience to record, it's really bad. But if you really want to use it and you don't want to use OBS, you're going to have to download GeForce Experience. Just search it on Google. It's not hard. So now you have a fresh GPU driver, and it's also been modded for better performance and stuff. So once you're done with that, you're going to click on NVIDIA Profile Inspector, and it's going to open up with this, and you're going to come up here, and you're going to click on import profiles, and you're going to click on baseprofile.nip, this one, and you're going to do open, and it will fill in all these things. These are just my settings that I use, and they're pretty much the best settings. And then you're going to come up here to the top right, apply changes, and you can X this out. And what that will do is, if you come into your NVIDIA control panel here on the desktop, that will pretty much just fill in these settings. One thing it doesn't change is this. It really doesn't do that much, but you can click on this, slide it to performance, and then click on that again. While we're in here, I'll go like here. You can, that's personal for that. You know, don't worry about that. Change resolution. In here, make sure you're set on the max refresh rate. Another one is adjust desktop size and position. Put this on full screen and make sure it's on display and your highest refresh rate. But yeah, so come back in here and you're gonna open up MSI utility mode v2, this one. Just run this. And you'll have way more things in here than me. This is why I'm gonna recommend like getting a fresh Windows installed before you watch this video, but if not, it's not a big deal. But yeah, you'll have way more things than me. So you're gonna look for your GPU. So here it is. That's your GPU. You're gonna check this box, the MSI mode. You're gonna check this box. Keep on going. Put this on high. And while we're in here, I'll go over the other ones. This is gonna be like if you're using Ethernet cable. Also, you want to check that. Set it to high. If it's already checked and set to high, don't worry about it. Your USB, these two USB ones, you can check that, set it to high. And then your audio controller, you're going to want to check that and set it to low. And then you're going to come up here to apply that, and you're done with that. Okay, so now that you've done all the GPU things, probably restart your computer after each like section. So do all the GPU restart and come back in here. So now we're gonna come in here, power CFG, open up this folder. One thing I forgot, disable, run this, and you shouldn't have to restart, should be fine, just run this. And then after that, open up the part control. If this is like a file, like it looks like this file, you're gonna need to download WinRAR or 7-zip. I'll put a link to that. You should already have 7-zip or WinRAR. But yeah, you're gonna want to download that so that way you can open this. So double click on this. It's gonna come up with this. You're gonna run part control, and I'll go through the setup just for this video. So you can uncheck that. You can do launch part control. And we're gonna uninstall this once we're done. So you're gonna come up to here, and you'll have a bunch of other power plans. I'm gonna show how to get rid of the extra ones. But you're gonna select Bitsum highest performance. Select that. Make sure all of these are 100%. You can copy the settings here. You're gonna click Make Active, and you're gonna click on Apply, and yeah, make sure you make active apply. Okay, you can exit out. It's gonna be open down here. You can exit it, and then what you're gonna want to do, type in power. Click on Edit Power Plan. Click on Power Options up here at the top, and you're gonna make sure that it'll say like your active plan. I have all my other ones deleted. I'm about to show how to do that. But you're gonna make sure it's active. Change plan settings. Make these never. And then before we change advanced power settings, you're gonna come into here, Power Settings Explorer.exe. Open this. Okay, so in here, this doesn't change anything. It just lets us change it in the power plan. So where we're gonna look for USB 3 link power management, uncheck that, and then you're gonna look for also uncheck link state power management, right here under the PCI Express, uncheck that. Allow throttle states, you're going to uncheck that. You're going to look for processor idle demote threshold, uncheck that. And you're going to look for processor idle promote threshold, you're going to uncheck that. And that should be all the ones there. You're going to come down. Yeah, that's all the ones in here that you're going to want to do. So you can X this out. You're going to come back into the power settings, click on advanced, and here I'll just make all these bigger so you can see what to set these to. Some of these will already be set. So if they're already set, then you don't have to do as much. Okay, so turn hard disk off. Just set this to 0. That doesn't really do anything. Just don't touch that. Wireless adapter settings. If you're using Wi-Fi, which don't use Wi-Fi, but if you do, there's that. Sleep never disable. Allow wake timers, disable that. USB selective spin setting, disable that. USB 3 link power management off. Do nothing, do nothing. Link state power management off. And then the ones that you want to touch, allow throttle states off, and processor idle demote threshold and promote threshold, have it on 100. And then these are, we've already kind of touched those with the GPU, so apply and OK. Probably now is a good time to restart. Alright, yeah, you could restart and then come back. So after you've restarted, what you're going to want to do, type in CMD, open up this. You're going to type in power CFG and then like /L, and you'll have a bunch of like options. It'll say Bitsum highest performance, and then it'll say like balanced plan. You'll have all of these. Basically, what we want to do here is you're going to delete all of them except for Bitsum highest performance. So the way to do that is, let's say this said balanced power plan. So you're going to highlight this whole number right here. Pretend this says like balanced performance. You're going to Control C, so copy this number. So now you type in power CFG and do dash delete like that, and then you're going to paste space and then paste that long code, and you're going to enter, and you're going to do that for every single one of these except for Bitsum highest performance. So that way when you come into here to check it, once you do edit power plan power options, it'll only show this one. That's what you want. And then like once you're done, you can come in here and you can uninstall part control because we don't need this anymore. Okay. Yeah, that's it, everything for the power settings. Alright, now I'm going to be going over the mouse folder. So you probably should have already ran mousefix and BCD edit. So now, next what I'll do is add affinities. So we're going to open up this tool. You're going to come down here, device manager. There's some tweaks you can do in device manager, but it's it's not going to be a lot of stuff. It's not going to make a big difference, so don't worry. That's kind of too advanced. But device by connection, these will probably be like looking like that. So just drop them down. So what you're going to first look for is your GPU. So find your GPU. Properties, and look right here where it says 4100. So in here, I have this over here. You can just click anywhere in this box, hit N on your keyboard, and it should take you to NVIDIA, this one. Now, I mean, you're probably only going to have one GPU, so you don't have to worry too much, but just double check 4100. You want to match it with that, so you have the right one. Hit set mask, and now this is going to depend on the CPU you have. So these are all the cores. So if you only have like to 8, then those are the only ones you can choose from. So in here, you're gonna need to find out what CPU you have. There's so many different ways to find that out. Find out what CPU you have, and make sure that you know if it has hyperthreading or not. So hyperthreading means you can come down here, Task Manager. You're going to want to do Performance, look at your CPU. So if you have 8 cores and you have hyperthreading on, or SMT for AMD, you'll have 16 logical processors. So if it's double, then you have hyperthreading. If it's 8 and 8, then you only have that. So the reason that's important is if you are on hyperthreading or SMT, you're going to want to select 2 of these. So it goes by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kind of like that. So just copy, just to save the confusion, just copy what I do. So um, if this says 8 and 8 or 6 and 6 or 4 and 4, you're going to only select CPU 4. If this says 8 and 16 or 6 and 12, you're going to select 4 and 5. So if that makes sense. So you're going to do OK, and then it'll restart, just OK. Screen might go black, whatever. And you should be back in here. If your screen stays black, it never comes back, just hold down the power button on your computer, and it'll restart and you'll come back. So next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna look for your USB port. So mine is, you're gonna look on these PCI to PCI bridge. Mine's under here where my mouse and keyboard are plugged into. You can just, you see the keyboard, you see the mouse, you see all that. So yeah, so find your mouse and keyboard. These should be on the top port, like what I already said. So in here, you're gonna right click properties. This one's 300. So in here, again, click anywhere in there, type U, and you're just gonna keep on clicking U until you find it. So might have found it. So yeah, USB. So 300, 300. So that's how you know you found it. Set mask. So this one, once again, same thing. You know, if you only have like 4 cores, just CPU 2. But if you have hyperthreading, 2 and 3, because that's the core and the thread. So same thing. You're gonna click OK, and you'll have to restart your mouse and keyboard. So if they're, once again, your mouse and keyboard don't come back, like you're moving your mouse around, you can't do anything. Hold down the power button, restart your computer. So we're done with that, and we can get ISLC. So I'll have in this folder, I'll have ISLC. So it's gonna say this because I already have it open down here. You just want to run that. So open up ISLC. So for this, you should have already ran the bcd edit command and restarted. So you're gonna click on, I'll stop it for right now. You're gonna check this, set this to 0.5, just like exactly how I have it, and make sure, and like start it and make sure this is, if your current timer resolution is not 0.5, if it doesn't look exactly like this, then restart your computer and it should say 0.5. So over here, this kind of depends on how much RAM you have over here of what to put in these boxes. Most people are gonna have 16, so just copy what I have and check this down here and polling rate 1000. So here, actually mine just closed. So yeah, make sure it's open down there. So what you're gonna do now, that way you have it on startup, you're gonna right click, create shortcut. It'll create a shortcut, and you're gonna come down here, click on, or type in run, and in here you're gonna type in shell :common and startup, just like that. And you're gonna drag the shortcut into this folder. So it should look like this. So that way it'll start up for you. Alright, so we're getting towards the end. So we open up the network folder, and don't run this network, or actually yes, do it. Run this network fix.bat. This was a file that I made, and pretty much if you're ever having issues with your internet, obviously unplug the router and plug it back in, and that will probably fix it. But if you're still having a bit of issues, you can run this. Basically just sets a bunch of settings, and it resets some things. So that'll clean up your kind of network. Another thing is adware cleaner. If you have any viruses and stuff, I have it down here. So open that up, install it, scan now, and this will just scan every once in a while to make sure you don't have anything, because this could really tank your performance. So I don't have anything. And so yeah, now we'll talk about updating the driver for your Ethernet. So device manager, come into here, network adapters. So if this says Realtek, then you're in luck, because that's what I'm going to be showing. But if you have a different one, just look up a video how to update the driver. It should pretty much be the same as a Realtek, but most of you will have Realtek. That's pretty standard. So come in here, Realtek network driver, right here, first link. You're gonna come into here, and I'll just download it for this. So here, I'll go back. Scroll down, Windows 10 auto installation, this one. You can just put in any email you want. It doesn't matter what email. So download file. So yeah, you'll have to fill this out. Okay. So open up this. Should have one runner by now. Open up this folder. Open up a Windows 10 folder, and like minimize like whatever you have open, just to make everything easier. Drag this 64. Drag the 64 folder onto your desktop, and it'll download there. So then once you did that, go back to Device Manager, click on Network Adapters, Properties, Driver, and you're going to do Update Driver. And you're going to do Browse My Computer, this one, and it's already there for me, but you're going to Browse Desktop. I don't have it on my desktop right now, but you'll see it down here. Just select 64-bit or the 64 folder. Make sure include subfolders, and you're gonna do next, and then install the driver. So once you install the driver, a few settings for your network. Which type of network? Change adapter settings. That's what you're gonna want to find. Come in here, properties. Uncheck all of these. Except for IPv4. So this one, you can uncheck all of them, except for this one. So uncheck all of them. Okay, come back in here. Click on this, configure. Come in here, power management. Uncheck these, and then you're gonna come in advanced, and you're gonna want to disable the ones that I have disabled. So energy efficient, disable. Gigabit light. Don't touch that. Green Ethernet, or you can disable or enable it. This doesn't make a difference. Green Ethernet, disable that. Power saving mode, disable. And all these wake, all the ones that start with wake, disable all of these, and do OK. And then now you have your Ethernet settings for better ping, and it won't really give you better ping, but it'll be slightly better. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. That's basically all I do. I'll show one extra thing that I don't usually do on people's computers, but go to Google and search for MSI Afterburner. Download that. So once you download MSI Afterburner, I already have it down here. Just open it up. Okay, so I already have a lot of settings set in here, but I'm gonna show like one thing to really help. So when you're in here, hit Control F. So now you've hit Control F. This is gonna be, you're gonna be locking the voltage, so this way your GPU doesn't start throttling. So what you're gonna do in here is, this depends on what GPU you have. So find out what GPU you have. Search on Google. Like let's say you have, so I have the 2060 max voltage. So you're gonna search this. So my max voltage, pretty much if you have a 10,000 series, so like a 2060 or a 20,000 series, it's gonna be 1093 or 1.093 volts. But if you have something else, just search on Google and find out. So once you found your max voltage, so 10,000, so if your GPU starts with a 10, or 20,000, if your GPU starts with like the 20 series, just lock it at 0.093. So you're gonna find the box that like is 0.093, so here, and you're gonna hit L on your keyboard once you found it. So that way, this little yellow line will come up and it'll lock your voltage at that. Another thing is just for power limit, slide this all the way to max. You might also have temp limit, so slide that to max. Core voltage, so this will probably be grayed out. So to get it, you're gonna go to settings, and you're gonna do unlock voltage control, or you want to have all these checked anyway, but unlock voltage control is what you want. So this should, now if it's not up, you can, close MSI and open it again. If it's still grayed out, I'm going to show you how to get it if it's still grayed out. So in this GPU folder, open up MSI cfg.txt, this one, and you're gonna follow this, what I've put in here. You can, you can read this, and you're gonna, copy and paste this into this folder, the Vin folder, and then open up MSI Afterburner again. So now this should be ungrayed out, and just slide this to max. So also fan speed, you can mess around with how fast your fan is spinning on your GPU. So set this to the highest you can tolerate. Like if it's too loud, go down a little bit, but you want this on pretty high to keep your GPU cool. And you're gonna do apply all your settings. Make sure you do that, and apply overclocking at system startup. So that's pretty much everything. If I forget something, I'll add it at the end, but that's pretty much everything. Yeah.